Hello again, the bloomers. Welcome to this blooming room.
Being single is not always a great thing, but being married to the wrong person is a completely different type of hell.
So many of us have come across, listened to clips, or watched the entire 50-part series of Who the F Did I Marry? Then, for those who have not, or those who have, let me make it very simple for you because there are so many lessons that we can take that can be very useful to us in our lives to save some of us who are going into relationships or some of us who are in relationships already that are similar. Quick lessons that we can learn, or quick things that are, the red alarm bells that are ringing that we probably have not identified yet.
I felt like time was running out. I ignored things because I really wanted it to be my turn.
So let's get the very first question out of the road. The first question I know a lot of people have is why did she not pull out of the relationship when she started to notice the red flags?
A lot of what fueled me staying in this situation really was the fact that number one, I didn't want to be alone. Number two, I didn't want to look stupid by having the relationship end so quickly for everyone to be like, we told you something was up. And number three, I was ready to get married. And that, what ready to get married, fueled a lot of stuff.
Okay, so you heard her. Three major things that she said, yeah? Number one, the fear of loneliness. A lot of us have made decisions. The quality of your decisions are always linked to the intentions and of your heart and the thinking in your mind. Your thoughts and your heart determine how well you will make a decision. Loneliness, because every one of us wants a companion. Some might not be wanting marriage, but other people at least will want maybe a girlfriend, maybe a partner, maybe a flatmate. Like we want someone around to share moments with. It's understandable. That's a major human need. And we will not we would respect that, and we will not put that against her because everyone needs someone. Maybe for you, it's a robot. Hey, do what you please. The second thing she talked about is shame. That good old thing that a lot of us often don't like to hear when we know we've gone ahead and taken a decision, and something that friends and family have told us there's something not quite clicking. We can't put our fingers to it, but I don't think this is the best part for you. And then we go ahead and then we do it, and we don't tell people why, because we don't want to hear, I told you so. We don't want to hear I told you so. I did a 12-part series on why do people stay on in toxic relationships that are not working for them. And one of the things I talked about in one of the episodes, I'll put the link in the description and also show you the title so that you can just see it and you can go back to my bouquet of videos and you can watch it for yourself. It's a 12-part series, which is very helpful. And one of the things I talked about is shame. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Shame is a major thing on which unhealthy, unproductive relationship thrives on. Of our series, why people don't leave toxic relationships. Today, number 5, shame. Shame is a big deal, especially for two particular reasons. If a woman or a man has been warned about getting into a relationship with someone, oftentimes you find that they don't want to leave because now maybe because of that relationship that they have gone ahead to enter without listening to people who've told them this is not a good idea. And now when they start experiencing certain things, they don't want to leave because they don't want people to tell them I told you so. Even in families, we often hear you don't discuss family stuff outside of the family. How many times have you heard that? Silence is the foundation on which abuse and toxicity. There's nothing that abuse and toxicity love so much than what? The third thing she talked about is the desperation for marriage. The drive for marriage at all costs, regardless of who it is, what it is. is creating an unhealthy cycle where a lot of women are not doing the due diligence that it requires before settling into a relationship, especially romantic relationships.
To be honest, I really had to kind of repent. Like, I had to really ask God to forgive me, because I believe that God did everything to stop me. And my hard-headed self was still like, that's not a red flag. That's more pink. That was more pink. It cost you nothing to verify, but it very well may cost you everything to not verify.
When it comes to finance, we want to look at back statement, we want to look at previous history. We take out time. I think sometimes we take out time to due diligence when it comes to people who want to enter into business relationships with than we do people who want to enter into romantic relationships with. Especially when desperation is behind it. Our ears are shut. We can't perceive anymore. Our eyes are closed. Just put a ring on it, put a ring on it, put a ring on it. That's all we want. All the signs we're seeing, we don't care about. All the things we're hearing, we don't care about. We just want to be married. We just want to be married. We just want to be married. Not asking questions. Indeed, not asking the right questions is costly. And do you know what is much more costly than not even asking questions? It's not having an open spirit to receive and accept the truth when it is flashing before our eyes. When we see the truth and we call it something else, that is even much more expensive and even much more painful, because then you reflect back and you say, God, I knew it. I saw this. I saw this. I should have acted. I should have acted at this time. This is the time. Because the more you excuse that behavior, the longer the price you have to pay, and the more the price you have to pay. At the end of the day, when you now need to pull yourself away from it, you've entangled yourself into this thing so much so that pulling away would even be much more painful than it would have been if you had done it at the right time. So what are the 3 quick things that we can learn from that other part? Was just to, excuse her and understand why she did what she did, and to let every one of us as women know that 80% of us, would do the same thing if we were in her shoes. Yeah, I dare say 80%. So what are the 3 major lessons that I think we can draw away from this? The first thing, ignorance comes at a cost. Trust, because trust is the foundation on which relationships are supposed to be built on, but verify. You can trust, but you need to verify. The more you have to lose, the more you have to question. And when you're asking questions, listen to the answers. Not just listen to the answers, observe the receipts. In my tribe, when a man wants to marry a woman, after he has come to let the family know his intentions, both parties, even before the man even comes to that woman, what they do is he tells his family, there's this girl I saw, she's from this village, la 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 la. The family would go to the village of this other lady and ask questions. Not to the family of the lady, just the community. Maybe they go to the marketplace. Well, there's this really young girl that, that girl. And then you hear the feedback. They don't know what you're there for. They don't know who you are. The girl does the same thing too. They send emissaries from the girl's side too to the man's place. Why? Background information. Even traditionally, we had this back in the villages. I'm talking about village settings now. So in this day and age, when we have Google and all of these internet platforms that we can use and searching, and sometimes you can pay for if you're really a high earning woman, you can pay for private investigators. You can do a lot of things. You cannot blindly go into a relationship with someone, especially when some things are not adding up. You need to do your due diligence. It's important that you are open to external parties to help you provide or fill out blanks that are missing, so that you can, especially when you're sensing it in your spirit, so that you can make informed decision. The next thing I think we need to learn is manipulators pick their victims. You were a student in this game. Some of these people are professionals. They've been doing it. You're not the first person. You will not be the last person. As long as there are a lot of naive, uninformed, insecure women out here, they will continue to thrive.
Two survived Legion, aka Jerome McCoy, aka Rome McCoy, aka Out of Augusta, aka Pathological Liar, aka I'm from Philly, aka I had to call the police to get this man out of my apartment in Clayton County. Where this starts to unravel, you got a job. It required a background check. You had to apply, and then he had to give his social security number, even though it was a job for you. Correct. The social security number that he wrote down did not match the one that you recalled on your marriage license. Correct. Which I think is great, detective. I was like, I don't know if I would have noticed that. Touring houses, I physically saw him put an offer in on a house. It is unfathomable to see someone put an offer in and they have no money. So my mind was kind of saying, okay, something isn't right, but you know what you saw. Now, but like she said, very charming, told the greatest story. Eyes were so, and like she said, the crazy part is, y'all, I don't know how he does it. He had paperwork.
Because people will only manipulate you when they know your dreams, your goals, and your desires. So be careful how much information. I always tell people, I did a video again on what you should tell people when you are in the dating space. Be careful how much information that you are giving out, because it is based on what you are telling them. They're going to concoct an entire storyline around the things that you were telling them to fit that thing that you want. Remember when she talked about wanting to go to London and all the promises he said he's going to take her to London, he was going to show her. So the trip to London, he never actually booked it. Anyone that knows me will tell you that she's wanted to go to London since she was a little kid. Oh. So that was difficult because you're playing with me. The breadcrumb you, the future fake you. It appears that he has been long in this game and he has learned three major things that a lot of manipulative, gaming, scheming men tend to study, and they know about a lot of women. Number one, that most women desire to be married, because culturally it is expected that a woman should be married. And then number two, if you're a heavy-set woman, you have an added insecurity about your weight, about your size. Then the third thing they know is that women of a certain age, now they also have an added pressure put on them by the biological clock, because a lot of them want to have children. So when you have all these three things in your mind, you know how to concoct a history, story, a movie, a script. You can script it. And if they know that they're talking to an intelligent person, and they have these moments where you question them, a lot of times what they show is anger, or they put up like, why don't you trust me what I'm telling you? Because they don't, maybe you sense that this storyline is not really adding up. You know, you told me this now, why are you telling me this now? You ask questions based on that. As soon as they sense that, oh, you're catching up to it, they're angry. Why? Because anger is often used as a tool to manipulate you to keep quiet. It's a game. They are masters of this game. They are masters of this game. Because he has a different intention. He's coming into this thing with a different intention. You are wanting a partner. You want love. You want to, together live happily ever after kind of story. But they are coming in with what? Survival mode. A man who is acting based on the need to survive is a very crafty person. So I think he had a type of woman that he would go after. He loved women who he sensed that perhaps had certain insecurities in certain areas, because this lady and the other Risa and this other lady said he moved in with them. And so the question goes again to ladies, why are you allowing men to move in with you? I think it takes a certain level of desperation to allow a man, or even for a man, to want to move in with a woman. That alone on its own it's very suspect. Very, very suspect. Anyway, so if he knows he's working with an intelligent woman, he had a type, like I said. He wanted women who were a certain age or a certain size or the pocket size, even though he knows that he will maybe flash a little bit of cash here and there, but the bulk of the expenses perhaps will be the shoulder would it will be on the shoulders of these women. And there are women who also have a place of their own, so that he can also he can move in with them. You see that. So he knows that, look, there will be questions here and there. I need to have receipts, so that when those times of doubts are coming up, are being stared, I can have something to present to them as proof. You have to show receipts. So this is someone who is scheming and pathological and very, very manipulative, and understands what he needs to survive. He is out here trying to survive. You are not his match. The third thing I want to say is that women need to be much more led by rational thinking than emotional thinking when it comes to relationships. Yeah. You see this love, love, love. I need love, love, love. I need. Slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down. Women, we need to enter into love, not with our hearts, but with our heads. I know that there are times and there are places where you need to add emotions, that softness to how you need to be considered, how you need to make decisions. But there needs to be a fair balance. You cannot relegate rationality to the doldrums when it comes to making decisions that have to do with the heart. You got to think with your head. I always tell people love is a choice. And when you're exercising choice, you cannot make choice based on only emotions. You have to make decisions and you make choices based on rationale. Rationale means take time to think about it and consider the evidence before your eyes, the data before your eyes. Make an informed choice. So I hope these three things have helped. First one, like I said, is that ignorance comes at a cost. The second thing, like I said, manipulators pick their victims and they are good at what they do. And the third thing, women, start making hard decisions with your head, less than your emotions. I hope this helped.